What's cranking, wieners? This is going to be kind of a weird intro. I'll try to make this short, but also I need to set up some context because right now I'm in Maine. Basically, I'm up here doing something pretty exciting. I didn't plan on filming this, but I figured I'd bring you guys along with anyway. I didn't even bring a camera. That's why I'm filming off this crusty little iPhone. Yeah, I'm up here looking at property. Theoretically, if everything works out, I do plan on getting some land up here. Maybe a nice little cabin. I've just realized that living in Texas during the summertime it's not good for my northern blood. I grew up in Illinois, so it's just not happening. So I'm looking for alternatives next year for 2020. Last night, I took a flight from DFW to Washington, D.C. to theoretically Bangor, but we weren't able to land. We couldn't touch down because of the ice and the snow and just the frigid cold weather up here. So we made 2 attempts, couldn't do it, so we circled back and went to Manhattan? No, we circled back and went to Manchester, New Hampshire. That was right around 2 a.m. American Airlines doing American Airlines things. Just couldn't figure out a flight for this next morning. So Lucky and I, she's right here. What up, Lucky? Say hello to the peeps. And this morning we woke up and rented a car. And we decided just to drive to Bangor because there was no flights heading out this morning. It's gonna be really exciting. I don't really know if I'm for sure gonna buy anything, but I at least want to entertain the idea. I'm fully driving right now, so I'm gonna focus on the road and I'll catch you guys once something exciting happens. Thanks for joining me on today's episode. Lucky and I are super stoked. Right, Toots? Wow, you are quite the opposite of super stoked right now. You're pretty much dead. Toots!
You smiling? Look it, she's actually smiling a little bit. She's a happy wings. Boop.
Lucky, today's a big day.
Oh God, that's gross. Your mouth smells like booty hole. Oh, I'm up. Good morning, gang. We have woken up, not so bright and breezy. It is 8:28. I wasn't able to read that. And today is the big day. We're gonna go look at some property. This is pretty huge. I'm gonna meet with the real estate agent here in a little bit. So I'm just gonna cut it short. I'm gonna grab some brekkie. I'll meet up with the dude who's hopefully gonna find me my future getaway summer property. Here's first. It's 17 degrees in Bangor this morning. I'm starting to regret this decision now. It's so fucking cold. This one is the... Yeah, very. Compared to the last one too, I mean, geez. So we just checked out property number 2. Definitely not as appealing as property number 1. The funny thing is online when I looked at this, it looked awesome. I thought this was definitely going to be a candidate, but there's no power, no septic, no water too, right? No well. It's about as primitive as it gets, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, I'm looking for something that obviously is the nice balance between being out there in the woods and then also comfortable, but this is just too much. Also, we learned that there's no way of actually parking the car close to the cabin because whoever had that cabin prior built a pond, which is cool, but the dam kind of limits as to where you can bring your car into. So you almost have to cross the dam with all of your stuff, like if you had groceries or gear, and then bring it to that small cabin. And by the way, it was very, very small. It's probably like, if you had to guess, like 400 square feet, not even. 200, it's a 200 square foot cabin. Basically a glorified shed with no heating, electricity, anything like that. So it's pretty tough. The first one we checked out though, which I honestly wasn't that interested in, looked really cool. It was 32 acres, very comfortable. It had power, it had heating, it had a well, septic already dug out. I'm trying to think practical here. Like, yes, this is cool. 80 acres with a pond. It's, I mean, very rural, as you can see, we're in the middle of nowhere. It seems nice, but I think it would get old very quickly. So the first one was really dope. I didn't really talk much during the first one just because I was in awe I was checking this property, but this one wasn't it though. Definitely not it. Lucky even wasn't a fan. Come on, Lucky. Let's go. Okay, so this next property we're looking at is in Troy. Yeah. This one's 115,000. All these properties, by the way, are right around the 100,000 mark. That one was 109, I think, which is insane. Basically 109 for a pond and a shed. And a lot of acres, to be fair. This one is interesting. This one's 06.
Yes, yeah.
30 acres? Decent. Generator hookup.
Yeah, so it's all on gas.
Okay, so this one's on gas, but
A little more rustic.
yeah, a little more rustic. Okay, we're at property number 3 right now. This one's pretty similar to the first one, only it's not hooked up to any electricity. It's pretty secluded. That's like the, I guess what you call the driveway back there. I'm gonna try to do a better job of explaining all these properties. The first one, I didn't really talk much. It was kind of just focusing on filming, but this is like an 06 property. It's definitely a remote cabin. Well, the animal tracks too. There's definitely some wildlife around here. You've got something living under, which he sees right now. What do you see under there? But look at all the woods too. This comes with 30 acres, which is pretty right on. It's about as much as I want. I think anything above that or under isn't necessarily what I'm looking for. Yeah, looks really solid, man. Get up there, Nugget. Plenty wood for Tito's and campfire. I like that. That's awesome. Nice little sofa for when Perrick visits. He can just sleep out here. Whoa, this one's also pretty large.
Yeah.
I love how these cabins have got these furnaces. Yeah, the woods. That's so cool. Unreal. Oh, this is really nice.
Yeah, a little more rustic. Right?
Yeah, definitely. It's like I guess the only downside is the road, electricity, lack of electricity. Up here you got some beds. Another loft situation. Could put at least 3 beds up here. Be tight, but you can make it work. Oh wow, what's going on here? What the hell? That's crazy. Why are there so many flies?
So they do have a drilled well. There's the well pump.
Oh wow. Okay. Is that hot water? Yeah. Solid. It's got a shower. Red. Yeah, it's. I feel like they really splurged on the bathroom. It's huge. Oh wow, yeah, this is pretty large. So this is. Let me see if I can throw some light in here. So this is, I guess you would call the main bedroom, master bed. Pretty large. Jason was just saying the big downside with this though, which isn't like a huge downside, but it's just it's gonna be generator, right? It runs on gas and generator.
Yep.
Yeah. Not terrible. No refrigerator. Oh, that'd be tough.
Yeah, and they're expensive gas refrigerators.
Are they?
Gas.
Tons of tracks around here. Jeez. No shortage of wildlife in Bangor. This is the backside of the cabin. Nothing crazy. More tracks. My God, Lucky, you would have a field day out here just chasing stuff. It's a really nice looking cabin. I mean, from the outside it looks way bigger. It's definitely not that big on the inside. It's weird. This cabin looks way bigger than the first one we checked out, and the first one was small from the outside and big on the inside. But I like it. It's not bad. Not too shabby. And the land around it is amazing too. Look at this. All these pines. It's gorgeous out here. There is actually a pond beyond those trees, which is cool, but it doesn't look huge. And Jason was saying earlier that building the pond isn't like an amazing chore. Pretty low maintenance if I wanted to get property without a pond. So you get 30 acres of pond and that deal right there. All right, Lucky, we gotta go. You can't chase any more squirrels. Okay, so I would say, we checked out 3 properties right now. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Plus, here's the other downside. Take a look at this. Just to get to the cabin, you've got a stage 1 off-road course. So I would have to bring the Land Cruiser or the 4Runner with me to get through this. As Jason was mentioning, in the springtime when you get a ton of rain, this could be like 5 times worse. So it's like fun, but also in a dire situation, you wouldn't want to have to plow through this and have this be your only straight shot to civilization. So in my hand here, we have a very promising piece of property, which by the way, I gotta give a huge shout out to Jason Fish. I'm not affiliated with him at all. He's not giving me a deal on a house. I'm not obviously sponsored by his realtor company, but I do have to say thank you to him because he pretty much drove me all throughout the most rural parts of Bangor today, or Maine. I can really tell he was sticking his neck out for me today to make sure I could find a property that I'm interested in. So we have one more day of property hunting. I'm just really stoked for this. I'm excited to bring you guys on tomorrow's house hunting mission. I know this is not necessarily a fishing mission, but it's a little bit of a different scenario. I'm gonna cut the video off here and I'll catch you guys bright and breezy in the morning. Let's hope we can find a future fishing cabin / crib. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Lucky, say goodbye to the peeps. Say bye. Say bye, I'll see you tomorrow. Come on, Lucky. Oh, wow, it's cold. Oh, Jesus. Day number 2 of looking for the cabin. This is kind of my last chance, my last day for this whole trip to really find something. Yesterday we looked at 3, one of which was super promising. Today I think we're only gonna look at 2. So I really gotta figure this out. Yeah, where's my keys? I found my keys. Got them. So I fly out at 5 p.m. So I gotta have to make this quick. One of the cabins we're looking at is like basically a 3-hour drive, but it's the one cabin that I've really been excited about checking out. I don't know if it's gonna be the deal, but I at least need to see it in person and for myself to determine whether or not this is gonna be the Lucky, oh my God, she's so funny. Did you hop in there yourself? You're so weird, you know that? You're such a strange wiener dog. Get in there. You're driving. I'm thinking today's the day that I'm gonna find my beloved fishing / outdoors cabin. I'm stoked, I'm yoked. Even though I'm a little bit cold, I'm looking forward to it. So I'm gonna meet up with Jason here in like 5 seconds and we'll get to cabin hunting. Actually, first, I've gotta scrape this ass ice off of the Camry this morning. This is ridiculous. Oh, that's pretty epic, honestly.
It's true Maine right there.
That's true Maine. Wow. Sheesh. You ready, Lucky? Let's go check it out. Wow, that's a pretty insane view. Oh, wow. That's so sick. That's pretty badass, honestly. Whoa. What is that?
This guy right here?
Yeah.
Not sure.
Otter? What do you think? What is that?
My dog is freaking out right now.
Wow. It's pretty cool, honestly. I mean, I think the reason why it looks so nice is it's just modern. It's like it's probably built not too long ago. Where is it? Up top? That's a little fridge? No way. It's old. That's a little fridge. It's kind of cool though. Oh dear. Look at this. This really is, I think, the reason why this property is worth so much. I mean, imagine waking up every morning to that. It'd just be nuts. Anyway, we're at property, I guess this is technically property number 4, day number 2. This is the one I was super curious about. It's, to put it lightly, off the beaten path, but the reason why this property is so appealing is for a couple of reasons, one of which it's 140 something acres with a cabin. And the other cool thing is, of course, that view. That's just insane. You know, I'm not like a big view guy. Like, I don't need the best view. I don't need to like wake up on the beach or the mountainside, but I can definitely appreciate that. That's truly incredible. The other cool thing about this spot is it does have a pond on site. It's a pretty sizable pond. I don't know what's in it, but it's a pretty good pond. I guess the 2 downsides of this specific property is the fact that the cabin, although it's a little bit more up to date, it's rustic, as you can take a look at the ceiling. It's not going to be very comfortable living. Gas, no electricity, right? No, as you can tell, no bathroom. This is a 1-bedroom, what you would call a hunter's studio apartment. Actually, this is the sink right there. Look at that. There's the pump. So it's got a well, probably.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's got a well. Yeah. Then there's this right there. I love that. That's so funny. You see that? There it is. See, I don't know if that would be worth it, like waking up super early in the morning and just having to take an ice cold. I mean, God, that's cold. I mean, you've probably done it living up here, but
Or late at night.
oh, no thanks. But it's a part of it's a part of the program, and that's the question I have to ask myself throughout this whole process is like, what's the trade-off going to be? Because although there's something I like about each property, it's not going to be perfect. I learned that buying my first house. This is especially unique because this is a scenario in which I'm looking for a lot of different things, a lot of land, potentially a pond. You know, it being close to the airport, but still having that outdoors feel. I think this one, undoubtedly has the best you're out there in Maine feel, like no doubt. Then what the hell is that? If you guys could tell me, I don't know what that thing is. It looks like an otter, but it's got a really narrow face. You're saying it's a fisher, maybe? I don't know. It's big though. Is it big? The whole building is essentially one room, kitchen over there, 2 beds, pretty spacious, honestly. And up here you got a loft, just like all these cabins. Nice loft space. 2 more beds up there. Pretty spacious loft, not that tight. Just kind of a different perspective. Okay, so this is the exterior of the house, or house. I keep saying it's a house. It's a cabin, for God's sakes. This is the exterior. It looks sick, honestly. It's got a nice little patio. There's the pooper, and then right down there is the pond. That's really cool. So you've got like all of this open, clear land, juicy pond right there. And then that's the cabin. It's a sweet system. But like I said, it's got some downsides for sure. Okay, so we are checking out the last property of the day, and as you may be able to tell, it's the first one that we checked out yesterday. I was super interested in this one, as if you couldn't tell already. So we decided to check it out before I fly out today. It's super appealing. The price is good. It's a good amount of land. It's a very comfortable cabin, but you're still, I mean, you're in the woods. It's definitely not like a super rural situation, but you still feel like you're in it, you know? This is the exterior of this cabin. It is really big, to be completely honest. Compared to what we have seen so far, this is the biggest bang for the buck. I think it's right around 1,600 square foot, and it's still technically considered a cabin, just because you're off the beaten path. And yeah, I mean, it's rural Maine. The cool things that come with this, of course, you get a nice little shed here, which you can put toys in. You could put actually like probably a pretty decent sized boat, maybe like a 15-foot, like 14-foot John boat. You've got a little shed or a little canopy for a little holster. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You got a little area for your wood too. This property does have electrical appliances, so it's not necessarily something I have to use wood for to keep the cabin warm, but it's a nice option. There is a wood burning stove in there, which is pretty huge. As you can see, there's the chimney. And then over here is all the beautiful land you can get with this property. It's a total of 32 acres, a little over 32 acres. Pretty freaking rad, in all honesty. It'd be weird to not only own a cabin in the woods, but then to own the woods surrounding the cabin. That to me is just such an incredible concept. I've never owned anything like this, but I love the way it looks on the outside. It's modest, it's simple. It's not too flashy, and it's a fairly new build too. I think it's built in 2001. Okay. Well, guys, bit of a gap there. I understand I didn't really film much after leaving the last cabin. I'm really curious to see which property you guys think I should go with. I'm still unsure, and that's exactly why I need to just go down somewhere, weigh out all the pros and cons, and just kind of determine what is the golden nugget. So anyway, drop the car off, get to the airport, and then I'll talk to you guys here in a second. See you there. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I have like no idea if I'm in frame right now. That's the dustiest part about these cameras. Let me just make sure. We're good. Brightness is a little high, but it looks solid. Let me turn that freaking thing down. I'm back in Texas. That was quite the journey. Roughly, I think 2 days. Would have been 3 if I would have made my flight, or if my flight would have landed, but I mean, you guys know that whole fiasco. So this is the part of the video in which we summarize what kind of just went down. This is not gonna be an easy decision. Putting an offer on any of these places would be very easy for me, mainly because I like a lot of them for different reasons. Every cabin has its perk, but every cabin also has its downside. For example, the first one we checked out was really dope. It was only a few minutes outside of Bangor. It had electricity, it had all of the kind of comforts of living in a normal home or a cabin. But what it didn't have is all that acreage. It didn't have a pond. So a little tentative about that one. It was also priced really well. Its listing price is $115,000. You guys have to understand, for 32 acres, for 1,600 square foot, that is a bargain. That's insane. $115,000 couldn't even get you a half bathroom in New York City. So it's an insane deal. I know that seems like a lot of money, $115,000, But truly, I mean, it's a decent little spot. So I like that one, but again, there's some things I didn't love about it. Let's move on to the next one. The second place we checked out was an absolute bust. I mean, that one was pretty tough. The cabin itself was pretty brutal. We found out the only way to get to the cabin or the actual living property was to cross a dam, and the dam looked like it was a little rickety, but it did have a pond, and it did have 80 acres. So those are two big perks, and it was fairly inexpensive. I think that one was $95 listing. But the cabin was extremely small, no electricity. It was actually running on oil lamps or gas lamps. Oil, what am I saying? This was running on gas lamps, some 1800 shit. That's like before, what, Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. So, but yeah, it was cool. I mean, I keep spinning, what the hell's wrong with me? I like that spot for everything other than the cabin. Then the third place we checked out was not too shabby. It also had a pond. I think that one was like 50 something acres. The cabin was really nice. It was actually a really solid cabin. It was a new cabin, but the problem with that is there was no electricity. What else? I don't think it even had a pump. It didn't have a water pump. Might have been a well on site, but it didn't have a pump. I think it did have septic, which was good. Or maybe it didn't have a pump. I don't know, but it definitely didn't have electricity. It was running on a generator. The thing is with that off the grid appeal, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices, whether it be, you know, not having direct electricity, you know, running from a power line, or if it means that you're gonna go to the outhouse and take a number 2 or a number 1, whatever you're into. And the second day, I of course had to fly out. I mean, today I had to fly out, so that was pretty rough. Didn't have a whole lot of time to shop around, but that's okay. I only had really one other spot I wanted to check out, and it was this beautiful freaking thing right here. 140 acres, 140 acre parcel of land with an insane mountain view. Unreal. This place really caught my attention. I think at first, oh, my toilet's really loud. You guys hear that? It's my toilet just going off. My toilet is going ham right now. It's weird, it does it every like 4 hours or something like that. This place is really cool. I mean, it's honestly the mega bargain for 140 acres, a cabin, a pond, and you know, being about an hour and a half outside of Bangor. You get it for $219 listing. The only thing I didn't realize is how small that cabin was. It's a cool cabin. Like, you can tell it's up to date. It's fairly modern, but like, it's rustic. It's pretty rustic. And again, when I say rustic, I mean you don't have all the amenities. The sink is a literal hand pump. So imagine doing your dishes. You know, it's kind of hard to scrub and hold the plate while you're pumping with one hand. But again, it's like, is it a deal breaker? Definitely not. It's a much smaller cabin than the first one I checked out. It's a cool cabin. They've got a bunch of mounts in there, which I'm guessing they probably take with them. But I'm imagining, you know, putting fishing mounts up there, fish mounts, trout mounts, stuff like that. And the view is insane. The view itself is worth $100,000. I've never seen a view like that up north. I mean, that was incredible. It's tempting. It's also a little bit more expensive, but again, you're getting more. It's triple the amount of land than some of the places I checked out. Sorry, I keep looking on screen because I've got the land pulled up right now, and I'm thinking. The pond was also pretty big. One thing I will note is I don't know what it lives in any of these ponds or if there's anything in them, but having a pond to begin with is pretty huge. You guys have an idea as to what I'm looking at. I'm gonna hit my realtor up, I'm gonna hit the real estate agent up tomorrow and give him my decision. I've done probably 3 months, no, sorry, that's a little exaggerating. I've probably done probably about 2.5 months of good, solid online research. These are the ones I've kind of narrowed down as far as what price point I'm trying to spend. I don't want to go over 200,000. That's a lot of money. And I want something that's, you know, close to civilization. You guys get an idea. I think these are the best options right now in the vicinity that I'm looking at. And the only thing I have to do tomorrow is to pick one, to choose one. You know, if and when I do get this place, this is gonna be a place for content solely. Where I live now, this is my hub. I live here, you know, this is my house. I have got an office, but other than that, it's my home, you know, it's here in Texas. It's a cabin for both of us because I'll be filming there a ton. But anyway, I'm peacing out, signing out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate the view. I know it was a little bit different video, but again, it's a different situation. And I figured I'd kind of film the whole process from the time that I lay my eyes on my future fishing cabin to the point in which we meet the closing date. Again, if I pick one, if it all goes well. But anyway, peace out, signing out. Thank you guys so much for the view. I will catch you guys later. And as always, folks, keep fishing, never stop.